Welcome to the Fiat Show, episode 92. Welcome, everybody. Really excited about tonight's show. We're mixing the shows up a little bit for you, but I just want to let you know, if you're on Facebook, make sure to like notification, hit the three horizontal dots on the upper right corner of the player, so you can get notified for any other future shows. Make sure you do that. Especially like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. I just want to let everybody know that we are taking in chat. If you want to send any comments or anything that you would like to say, please do that. I will be watching all the chat on YouTube and Facebook and on the website. So there's all different ways of taking the initiative to be part of the show, because I think we're trying to get as much as, be part of the show as much as we can, and let you guys chime in as much as you can through 2018. So we'll do a short prayer, and then we'll welcome Molly onto the show, and she'll introduce herself and everything that she's doing. We have a project just like you. So we're going to be talking about her work and what she's doing and how everything started. And it's getting very, a lot of national talk and everything that's talking about everybody is special, and whatever gifts that you have, or whatever God gave you, that's all matters. And so she'll focus on that, and we'll start with a prayer, and then we'll welcome Molly onto the show. In the name of Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Lord, thank you again for tonight. Thank you for Molly. Thank you for her family. Thank you for her gifts and to share tonight. Please let us say the right things and serve you tonight. Just give the gifts of love and compassion for all people. And just thank you again for the March for Life that just happened, and just continue loving all life as we should. And thank you for the gift of life, and to share that with all different and just unique and beautiful people on this earth. And thank you again for tonight. Thank you for people watching live and that will be watching. And just give us the words that we need to say. And in your name we pray. In the name of Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. And so, further ado, we will welcome on Molly. How are you doing tonight?
Hi, how are you? I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Good. I asked, and I know Missy was going to do the interview, and I think she was busy with family situation, but I do with the Fiat Ministry Show. We always ask, in a sense of, we'll get into a project just like you in a second, but I would like to ask, and I ask all my guests, what got you to the point that you're at, usually saying yes to Jesus Christ, that Fiat, that the way that that got into the situation of, okay, I want to start this project just like you. Where did it start? And maybe your little background of where you got to the point where you're at right now in your faith and project work.
Sure. So it started back in 2016, Ken. My son was diagnosed in the summer of 2016 with autism spectrum disorder. And I went through a month of mourning because I thought, well, this wasn't the way that I pictured it. Or I pictured his life, or I pictured our lives. And trying to process everything, I focused on watching Jacob day after day and seeing how he enjoyed the same things as his peers in the terms of the toys that he played with, interacting with his sisters. He was so many different ways, so much like his peers. So I started taking pictures of Jacob just doing his everyday playtime, and I introduced him that way. I thought, well, I want to introduce Jacob and show Jacob to the world the same way that I see him on a daily basis, not as Jacob who has autism, but this is Jacob who's a vibrant, at the time, 1.5-year-old little boy who enjoys playing with his toys, playing with his sisters, and focusing on what he has in common versus what separates him from his peers. And so the whole focus of Project Just Like You is an idea, it's a concept that we are all more alike than different, and that every single person in this world has dignity, has value, has worth. And if we focus on what we have in common, then we break down those barriers and those stigmas that divide us, and we see a person, we see a human being, we see somebody who is dignified, and from my own personal beliefs, dignified in the image of God. And when you focus on that, then you take away the fear, and a friendship can develop from there. So that's the whole concept of Project Just Like You, is focusing on what brings us together as a human race. Because I know for myself, when I look at this world, I think we can do better than this. And I want my son to go into a world that will see him as a human being. And that's the whole point of my mission, is to show each person as a person.
And I think that's a wonderful way of approach that, you get so caught up of, what people take as, everybody's unique. And I think anything that we go through as a faith, especially with Jesus Christ, looking at everybody the same, and we sometimes focus on things that aren't really, in the sense, worth because everybody has a gift, and just like we just went through the March for Life, the situation of if this unborn child that is in the womb that might have a deformity or something that has something that nowadays you can find out, which is great to know, but then to say, hey, I'll take however she or he is, and sometimes I think people get caught up in the sense of you get caught up in the whole almost artificial life and situation of people, that culture, that you have to look at people in a certain way, because I know for a fact that I have people that that I meet that have maybe a slow. I was picked on back in the when I was young, and I know for a fact there was people that had handicaps that were very much picked on, and it's a difficult thing to understand that people with a handicap are as special as anyone that has $1 million, that's a professional athlete, that because they're looking back at someone with a handicap and saying, a lot of times they're focusing on all the great things that they have, because I think sometimes that you have a way of focusing on someone that feels like they might not have everything, in the sense of knowing or the intelligence or anything like that, a way to walk or all that. I think it's a beautiful way of approach to share. I mean, let's go for, you know, what is the core mission? And I'll stop the rambling, but I think, I mean, I think it's very important that people take advantage of knowing that we have to know our love of manhood and people of the gift of life, of anything. And I think it's a beautiful mission that you're doing. And what is the core mission of just
sure.
like you?
So the core mission is giving a positive voice to the people in the special needs community. And we do that by sharing stories. And so each story that we share, like I said, we're showing the strengths. We're showing what they have in common. So it's for a person to say, oh, your 5-year-old likes Hello Kitty and likes to ride your bike. Well, that's just like my little 5-year-old. And okay, so they enjoy the same things. And when we focus on those similarities, then, like I said, we break down those stigmas and those barriers. And we break the boundaries that seem to divide the different communities, so people can just be seen as people. And it's been it's caught on fast, and it's been a pretty effective way of telling stories. We've highlighted hundreds of people now on Project Just Like You for all different types of different abilities.
Well, and then I'm getting some comments in just right now, but what, for me, I would like to know, in the sense that what are some feedback that you have gotten? I mean, the mission, is trying to, what's some of the feedback that you're just like very touched, that really got you?
Absolutely. That's a great question, Ken. So there's been so much positive feedback. The thing that I hear the most is from parents, especially, is thank you for showing how my child is just like anybody else. Because as a mom of a child with special needs, this is something that we all struggle with daily. Is my child going to be accepted? Is my child going to be invited to birthday parties? Is my child going to be seen as a human being, or are they going to be seen as, well, that's the child with autism? That's the child with Down syndrome. We don't talk. We just kind of shove them aside, put them in a box. And so what this is doing is breaking the boundaries of those stigmas, breaking the boundaries of the labels, and saying these are not labels, these are human beings. And it's been, I remember one mom, after I featured her daughter, told me that her daughter saw the profile that we had on her, saw her bio. She started crying and she said, see, Mom, I really am a smart person. She deals with several types of different mental, what's the word I'm looking for? Disabilities. And so it gave her that burst of confidence. I've had moms write me and say, I was so touched. It was so amazing to see all these different people commenting and sharing and talking about my child in such a positive light. Because some of these kids are in such severe situations where they don't get out very often. They don't, I remember one child I featured, her mom had a virtual birthday party because they don't even leave the house. So it's an affirmation of parents and of even self-advocates in the special needs community that they're getting a dignified, they're being dignified, excuse me. So they're being dignified and they're being seen for their strengths, which is a lot of times they're passed up or they're ignored by the rest of society. And so giving that positive voice to the special needs community. And so I receive so much feedback, and you can even go to projects just like you, and you can see on our Facebook page where people have written different stuff, but it's just focusing on what makes us human beings.
Yeah.
And that's been the core mission, and that's really been the core feedback that I've received through the emails and through text messages and through, even in person. Like we're local moms, because we feature from people all around the world.
Well, and I think sometimes that focusing on this kind of situation and, these, wonderful people of any, age and all different backgrounds. And, I think it's a wonderful thing to share because, you're getting some, a following. You got a lot of, I know you've been, I think you've been interviewed a couple of times locally and I don't know how much nationally, but I think it's, yeah. And I know from talking to Missy and, having, someone like you on, it would be nice to have a different way of sharing the pro-life and sharing how life is so much more in the sense of a gift, and sharing that for these kids. I know they're different, but any handicap, it's a struggle right there for them to do anything. But then to hearing them that can't even get out of their house to be able to just function like a normal person, it just breaks your heart, to hear that kind of, situation. That how do you verify having, in the sense of these people that are going through this, how fair is it for us to judge any, that's the thing. It comes down to judgment of people. It really does. I think sometimes that people are just, too quick to judge nowadays, and always feeling that judgment of someone before they even get to know someone. Because I know, in a sense, you get to know someone and they might, have a handicap or something of that, a situation that, a struggle in their life of, anything. After you talk to them, after you have some kind of a personal relationship with someone, it changes the whole outcome of your relationship with that person. And you judge not what they are, they can't do, it's what they can do. I think that's the thing. I think that's sometimes people like look at all the stuff that someone can't do, but what can they do? They can give you a smile on your face. That's probably for your, son, smile on your face every day. That is, that's all that matters.
And that's one of the things when I talk about the special needs community, Ken, I'm very, very careful with my words. I mention and I say it's not a disability; they have different abilities.
Yeah, different. Yeah, that's a great.
And it's reshaping and reframing the way that we see the special needs community. Some people even say, get rid of special needs, call them the neurodiverse community. I do say special needs because that is something that we all understand. But I am very careful to say it's not a disability, it's not a burden, it's just a different ability. It's a different way of thinking, it's a different way of, behaving, and but God created this all. And there's very specific reasons for every single individual on this earth. There's a purpose, there's a mission, and that needs to be respected, and that needs to be seen as with dignity. because there are no accidents. And the people that are here for a reason. They're here for a purpose. And that's what needs to be focused on, is that this is a human being, this is a soul, this is a person who is here to give value, because every single person has value. And I think that that's something that we get away from in our society. We see, how can you benefit me? How can you benefit my company? How can you benefit X, Y, Z, whatever it is? And you're not seeing that this is a human being. And so that's really what we're doing. We're trying to get to the very core, the very basics of, we're talking about human beings here. But it gets lost. I mean, it's a basic message, but it gets lost in our world of the 21st century.
Yeah, and I think we got a Disney dude on, and all children are a gift from God, but children with special needs have a sweet vow of innocence that stays with them for life, and they are like our little living saints. So I mean, I love, I mean, and so I mean, I don't know if you can see that. I mean, if you can see that on the screen, but we're popping in some great comments. Thank you for that.
Thanks, dude.
And so
I agree.
Yeah, I definitely. And I'm gonna pop back on, and we're doing some new stuff in 2018 with the Fiat Ministry Network, and I know we're gonna be talking about your, coming, doing some stuff with us, and, in the sense of promoting all, and you can really dig into what you want to do, but I think it's bringing on, interviewing, I know you want to do it on Mondays, and bringing in a conversation with many different people of different values and everything of understanding, and I think it's a great idea, and I'm really excited to have you. We're learning together, and I think that's one thing that's great about this technology. We can do a lot of things to spread the word in many ways, and to give the gift of everybody is precious. And so
absolutely, every person's precious.
And I will just want to let everybody know this ad, I just want to is from the faithlifefamilywear.com, and make sure to get something there. Buy an item of clothing or anything that you can see at their store, and then what you can do is you can say, okay, I really like Project Just Like You, and I want to support them too. So you're doing a win-win for both situations, and I really would like, anyone that's watching tonight, check it out, and we'll be back in about 30 minutes, or 30 seconds, a minute, and then we'll continue with the interview. And thank you for tonight. So we'll go to
Project Just Like You is helping to give a voice to those with special needs, as we all need to appreciate and value life, from conception to natural death and everything in between. Faith Life Family is showing its support through a crest that was co-created by a child with autism. With every purchase, you can donate a portion of the proceeds to Project Just Like You. Please show your support by shopping faithlifefamilywear.com and help someone today.
My
Stay connected with
son,
Fiat Ministry Network.
Ken,
Yeah.
is this continuing me?
Like us
My
on
son
Facebook.
Ken has been asked, or he is now
Stay
for
updated
a group called
at
Save Down Syndrome,
fiatministrynetwork.tv
which is a group that is started.
Follow us on Twitter at Fiat Ministry Net. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Fiat Ministry Network. Fiat Ministry Network, encouraging all to say yes to Jesus Christ.
And we're back. So yeah, I think we can continue with a couple of the comments. I think we're gonna pop you back on, and here's another comment from the Disney dude, and I'll bring that on as well. We'll send that out, and he was saying that how important. Let's see if we can get this to work. And so, different abilities. That's great, Molly. There's another one. Everyone has. We'll bring that one up. Every person has value, and I think, that's. Thank you for those comments. We really appreciate the insight. Let's get a little bit into the accomplish. What do you want to willing? Where is this going to go? Project Just Like You. Where do you see this going? And
my short-term mission or my long-term mission, Ken, or both?
You can go with both. We have time for both.
Sure. So 2018, we are focusing on this year on creating videos and pamphlets. We want to get into the school systems, and we want to show scenarios of interactions, dialogues, conversations, because a lot of the times in the special needs world, this is a huge elephant in the room where people, for whatever reason, don't know how to relate or cannot feel intimidated or maybe feel scared that they'll say something wrong to the child that has the wheelchair, to the child that has, who's nonverbal. So what we want to do is actually break down those walls by creating videos to show to the classrooms and creating pamphlets and booklets to send home so parents can look at a scenario, read a scenario with their kid, and then have follow-up questions to talk about it, because it's a huge need. And after talking to several educators and guidance counselors, they have all affirmed that this is a huge hot topic. And we live in a society, we live in a world that wants to politely walk past if you see somebody who has a wheelchair, or if you see somebody who has a walker, who wants to walk past and just mind your own business and then talk about it later on. And children in nature are very inquisitive people. They want to know, and they're not asking out of malice. And really, being a mom in the special needs world, we welcome those comments. We want you to ask questions, because how else are you ever going to learn? How else are you ever going to be educated? And so it's not impolite to ask about the walker. It's not impolite to open up that dialogue, because we want to educate. So this is just another way. So this is what we're looking at for this year. We've already connected with a producer who will be helping us with the videos. Long-term vision, Ken, we want to get into different parts of the world, such as China, such as Africa, where there's such a stigma around people in special needs world that they're literally abandoned. So in China, they're not seen as one of the workers. So a lot of the times they're left in the orphanages in horrendous conditions, often left to die. And down in Africa, there's not all of it, but there's parts of Africa that believe that they're cursed. And if they have special needs, if there's something wrong, I shouldn't say wrong, if there's something that they deem is different than the rest of their people, tribes, that they're abandoned. Like, once again, they're cursed and, again, left to die. So it's crucial to get into these areas to help stabilize, help normalize a situation where it's just the worst conditions you can imagine. So finding ground to break into those different areas is a long-term vision of project, just like you. So those people can share their stories. We want to be sharing it in different languages. We want to be sharing it through different cultures, and just that same basic concept going to all parts of the world, no matter it's very popular. It's become really well accepted within the Western Hemisphere. And now we have to look at in a long-term vision, the other parts of the world that have not embraced and have not accepted. And even in our culture where I say the word accepted, it's still, there's so much work to do. There's so much, there's still a fear. There's still how do we relate to this person? Oh. And so that is what we are addressing.
Well, and I think that's one thing. I mean, it's amazing that, you mentioned, just with China and all these situations of getting around the world. It's so great that you would, do something of that nature, because it needs to be heard. I think, and congratulations on just and I know it's probably not like what you wanted to do or thought, but I think it has to be heard and be taught, and it's great that this, you want to be, bringing it into the schools and showing, because it is like, I was like, okay, how do I, what do I say sometimes? I know exactly what you would be, say, and I would like to hear some of those comments, and we can do that down, some other time. But I think it's hearing, people that are caring like you, that know, and you're a witness, and you understand, because I think we're in the sense, and sometimes we're in our own bubbles, in our own lives, bubbles that we just don't understand. I think that's the biggest thing that happens nowadays, is knowledge is not universal, in the sense that it's out there, but people are not exactly the same minded in every sense of understanding of everything. It just not, it doesn't work that way. So the upbringing of everything that you go through in life, you're kind of caught into that, and you need someone else to at least to give, you have the back, you have a situation that you're living with someone, and you understand that, and so I think you have a little bit more of that knowledge and background that you can share with someone else. But that's the nice thing about having groups. Like, I know you probably on Facebook and interacting. I know you're doing other shows and doing stuff on Facebook, and having that community of like-minded, but also to get out there into the real world where people aren't as well versed, because I think that comes down to even faith. I mean, we'll go, it's not well. I mean, I go to my parish, and half are holding their hands up doing the Our Father, and some people are doing that. I mean, there's so much knowledge that is not used, in the sense that people just don't know. And I think that's one of the things that I love that you're sharing that with schools, because it's got to be a very important thing, especially in schools, because number one, bullying. I mean, I guarantee. I mean, that's a number. I mean, and I know it's a sore subject in times and all that, but I mean, and I stuttered and all that. I had speech. I didn't have any kind of handicap. I just, couldn't. I'm talking right now. I don't know how I'm talking right now, but anyways, but anything that is I mean, in any way, and especially, those, special needs, or people that, that are just, in that realm of all special, and not in their own minds and their loving hearts that they have. They're special. People just don't see that. And I know it's sad to say that, but I mean, what is that something that you're going to be focusing? I know we'll go a little bit more into like the teaching with the schools and all that. I mean, is bullying a big thing, or is that not? Or are you going to go a little bit in?
Absolutely,
Okay.
yeah, that is, and that's one of the. When I speak to groups of people, Ken, I talk about the bullying situation because it is. The last I read that the rate is over 80% now of bullying in the public schools. And if you haven't been bullied yourself, you've been witness to bullying. And and absolutely, I mean, that's part of what we're doing is we're trying to, in our own way, when you try, again, you talk about a person by what we have in common, that helps break down that bullying. And it, and I feel that push for inclusion, the push for inclusive classrooms is not a maybe. It is a must, and it has to happen because that too will help decrease that bullying. It creates a world of compassion. The studies are behind it. The research is behind it. They say that children learn best when they are with their typical peers. And so working with the schools and breaking into the school systems, bringing out materials, these are all things that are indirectly and directly, I feel and I believe, going to help reduce that bullying. Because when you bring compassion, when you bring understanding, when it becomes part of your world of how to relate, how to act, then it's going to reduce that bullying in the very nature of the of that just simply being there. And so we're hoping that that Virginia and all schools eventually will have inclusive classrooms. There are parts of I know there's a place out in Blackwell, Virginia. Blackwell, Virginia is a small little place out in Southwest Virginia, and they've been doing inclusive classrooms since the 90s, and the results have been stunning in the sense that the kids just simply accept their peers for who they are. And you don't see a whole lot of bullying in this Blackwell, Virginia, because the school system said yes to inclusion, and it has worked. It has worked beautifully out there. And so my hope and my goal is to keep pushing for the inclusive classroom so that children like my son, Jacob, when he gets into elementary school, is not going to be just cast aside in a special, in a classroom that's removed from the rest of his typical peers. But he's going to be right there with his typical peers. Absolutely.
And that's, thank you for that. And I think that's a great way. I mean, I believe in the sense that learning with peers, I mean, I really didn't, I didn't go through that, but I think one thing I do remember, in the sense of when I was taken away, I felt, for speech therapy or anything that you go through and you're taken away from your peers or you're not together, you feel kind of isolated and then I think when they feel that anybody, any handicap, anything that has their, in the sense that they just, what they need to do, and they can be brought together with their peers, they feel, unity, I think, in the sense that sometimes that we, all need that. I think that's just a part of nature, and that's great to share, and I commend that. Thank you for that. And the last question was, what is your or actually tell me about the symbol, because these are notes
Oh,
that I'm missing.
yeah.
Yeah, please, yeah.
That's a great question. I'm so glad that someone brought that up. So the symbol is the megaphone, and we chose the megaphone to essentially, we're giving a voice to the voiceless, and we felt that that was an appropriate symbol for our mission. And I'm actually kind of excited to tell you that the person, so we created it, and then there was somebody, I'll tell you a little backstory on Project Just Like You. When we first began, there is somebody who works at Facebook, who has asked to remain anonymous, who found out about Project Just Like You, I guess just by working there. It came across her screen or something. And she took so much liking to Project Just Like You that she just has gone ahead and sponsored posts. Excuse me, I shouldn't say she. This person has gone ahead and sponsored posts for us. And they actually helped us with the slogan as well. So one of the people on the design team at Facebook helped us with our slogan, our logo. So just a little fun backstory on that one. So it did find the support of people in Facebook, inside Facebook, and they helped us with that slogan.
Oh, that's great. I love that. And who knew Facebook would,
Right?
but I love it. I think that's a great, I mean, it's great, that someone would support that. And we need, in a sense, everybody needs, in a sense, help, and any way you can get it in volunteer work. What are the best ways? I know the website's probably your best. Are you on anything else that you would like to?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Obviously, like I said, Facebook, we have a huge following, or we have a decent sized following on Facebook. We're also on Instagram, and we're on Twitter as well. So you can find us at Project Just Like You on any of them. And for Twitter, it's Project JLY. So you can find us on any of those social media platforms.
Okay. And here's
and the website, yeah.
Yeah, the website's right here, and we definitely make sure to go to the website. We'll go to, it's a couple, just projectjustlikeyou.org, and definitely check that out, because for our, go ahead.
I was going to say, and if you'd like to be featured on Project Just Like You, please shoot me an email. My email is projectjustlikeyou@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
We're always featuring new people, and we would love to feature you if you'd like to be featured. We have a form that we'll send you. It's a Google Doc that we send out. You just fill that out and send some pictures back with captions, and then we'll let you know ahead of time when you're scheduled to be featured on Project Just Like You.
Oh, that's beautiful. And the last thing, and we'll I know talking a little bit, but about the show starting on Mondays at the end of the month. Well, actually next Monday. What can you share about the idea and the concept of the show, and just anything that we'll definitely promote that too.
Thanks. Yeah. So we're going to be interviewing all different types of people, predominantly those people who are really moving and shaking in the special needs world. So we have authors lined up. We have self-advocates. We have parent advocates, people that just have a voice. And then when we highlight organizations, we plan to highlight their executive director, or somebody who speaks on behalf of that organization. So that's a lot of what we do. We highlight different organizations around the country, and we showcase some of the people that they have, that their organization represents. So we have a lot of different people that we'll be featuring throughout the year this year.
Well, I'm really excited about that, and I think please check it out. We'll have it on all the different platforms of, Facebook and YouTube, websites, both websites. And I just really thank you, Molly. I know Missy was kind of the, getting us, everybody together and everything.
Great.
Here's the last, let's see, we got another Disney, push that out. And so we got another comment just from Disney Dude. A great show. Thank you. We're definitely looking forward to the whole situation of just having you, in a sense, part of Fiat Ministry, and I'm really happy, to help out. And I want to let everybody know, Molly's just one of hopefully many that we can share, because the platform's here. Fiat, I want to continue. We're looking at, kind of branching into media, the Fiat media section of our ministry, where we can serve in the sense of what Molly's doing, and basically using a platform that we can use, and you don't have to learn all the behind the scenes what I'm staring at and doing. You just focus on the show and do what you have to do with the interview, and not have to worry about all the production and all that. And that's what we like to do. We're also looking at doing anything in different parishes, organizations, anything that is looking to understand how to get to the world, because right now this is where everybody's at is, and I know we need to get to prayer. We need to be, focus on, what's the most important thing is, our faith and our families, and keep away, not stay too much on the focus of the media. But this is a great way to spread, and I hope people will take advantage of your show, Molly, because I think there's going to be people that will learn much about how to interact, how to focus, how to just be with people that are, in a sense, special needs, special in their own right is what I guess I think I'll say that, special in their own right, because they are special in God's eyes, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters. And I love that part of, just opening up that to people that don't get it. I think sometimes, like I said, and I'll end the show again. Thank you for coming on.
Of course, thank you for having me.
People just need to know and understand. I think that's one thing that we're trying to do here at Fiat Ministry Network, is teach, and that people just need to know and learn. And some people just don't understand the specialness of everybody, and every person is special. Everybody's in the heart of God, a child of his, and we just have to focus that, and no one is left behind. So but any final thoughts? I'm done on my soapbox. It's your show.
You're absolutely right, Ken. Every single person is special and unique, and is a child of God. And that is, while my show is set up to, we don't essentially talk about faith, but the underlining value of what I do is affirming that all life is sacred, and all life is worthy to be embraced. So I love that about your show, that you are so forthright of just getting out there of, yes.
Well, no, I thank you again, and I apologize, everybody. We're doing some new stuff, so at the beginning was a little getting everything set up, but we will get it back. But I do want to thank everybody that has been watching or was watching our coverage of the pro-life march in D.C., we're just getting a huge amount of people watching it, and there was a lot of coverage. We're going to try, if we do, I've been contacting people with the Walk for Life on the West Coast, and hopefully we can cover some of that. But what we've done, with, our president just sharing using the internet, using technology to reach out to that massive amount of people during the march was beautiful. And I think anyone that wants to check it out, it's on YouTube. We are still, it's just amazing that we were one of the only people. If you type in March for Life 2018, we're one of the only people that were streaming that live. And so we're not trying to be, we're humbled about, thank you for allowing us, but we're blown away by the response is what I'm trying to say. It's more thank you to all of you, not to us. We're just the platform. So I just want to say that also. And so again, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, go to the website and sign up for our email list so we can let you know when upcoming shows, everything. Please check it out. And again, thank you, Molly, and everybody.
Thank you. And
everybody that was chatting, thank you. And
thanks for your comments.
And we will see you. Actually, we'll do a show with Molly. It would be coming up next Monday, right? Or are we still? Yeah.
Yeah. That's and I'm so excited about that.
Sounds good. So have a great evening. God bless, and we'll see you next for the Fiat Ministry show, probably next Thursday. If not, I will see you when we see you next. God bless.
All right.